Hello again, SLS 1101 students, and welcome back to the second learning objective of your course, Learning Objective 2, Practice Effective Time Management Strategies to Foster Responsibility and Accountability in College and in Life. We're going to call this lecture Class 4, and it relates to Chapter 2 of your textbook titled Goals, Time, and Stress Management. This is the first part of 3 related to Chapter 2, and let's have a look. So imagine this. It's your lucky day. You've won $86,400, but you only have exactly 24 hours to spend it however you'd like. Any money you don't spend in the next 24 hours will be lost permanently, so you have to use it or you lose it. Pause the video for one moment and make a list of how you would spend this money. Be sure to account for every last dollar so you don't lose any of the cash, and pause the video while you make that list. So now that you have your items, answer each of these questions for your own scenario. Look at your list and identify, what did you spend the most money on? What trends do you see on your list of items? Where did the most cash go? How about the least amount of money? Which items didn't receive very much money or maybe not any money at all? Do these items on your list accurately reflect the things in your life that mean the most to you? So if someone found your list of your budget for that amount of money, would they know what items you care most about, what your values and your priorities are? Now that you answer that type of question, are you still happy with your estimates, or do you think that you could have spent the money more efficiently? Did you maybe not spend the money at all by the end, that you had leftover cash at the end of the day and therefore lost that money having not spent it? If you didn't spend all the money, how would you feel about leaving unused money on the table to be lost for good? Would you feel frustrated by that fact, or would you just think that it was extra money anyhow, so it's not that big of a deal? Think about that. And then compare that to the idea that there are 86,400 seconds in a day. At the end of the day, when that time is gone, would you rather that you used all the time effectively or not? How are you going to use your time? Everyone has exactly 168 hours in a week. So we're going to transition from the idea of tracking seconds to tracking hours because it's much more manageable. I want you to pause the video again and estimate the time that you spend on various activities. So take out a piece of paper in your notebook and estimate how much time you spend per week on the following activities. Pause the video while you complete this portion of the activity. Time in class, time completing your homework related to the class, sleeping, which also includes napping, volunteering, sports or after-school activities, intramurals, that might also include the gym, TV, which also includes time on your cell phone, time on social media, time on the internet, all the technology for the most part, with the exception of video games. Video games gets its own separate category because sometimes video games has an overwhelming amount of hours that students spend on that activity. How about just getting ready in the morning, getting ready for bed, getting ready for events? How much time do you spend on the average week just getting ready, showering, brushing your teeth, etc.? How about spending time with family and friends? How many hours per week would you say that you budget to spend time with family and friends? Write that number down. Eating, driving, and lastly, take your total values and subtract it from the 168 total hours in a week to find out how many hours you have left over, the other items that weren't included in your budget here. So take a moment and complete this. It's going to have a relation to this week's activity as well as next week's assignment also. So have a look, pause the video, and whenever you're ready, hit play and let's resume. So kind of similarly to finding that money on the street, or you're awarded that amount of money. So look at your numbers now for the time that you estimate you spend in a week. What do you notice that you spend the most amount of time doing? What do you spend the least amount of time doing? Do these items accurately reflect the things in your life that mean the most to you? Are you happy with your estimates, or do you think that you could do a better job of managing your time? What area would you like to improve the most? Where do you think that you have the most room for improvement on your estimated time categories? What type of items do you anticipate fell into your other category? If you did the subtraction, you have 30, 40, 50 hours left over. What do you think you're doing during that time? Do the numbers next to these values in these categories tell the story of the things in your life that matter most? Do they tell your story? Can identify what your priorities are, your goals, just by seeing how you donate your time, how you spend your time? Is that evident in the numbers that you found? This is going to relate to your assignment this week, which is Module 2, Assignment 1, the time tracking activity, which is covered in more detail in a separate video. But know that for this week, you're going to track how you actually lose your time for the next 7 days. The assignment does take a week to complete, so you might need to get started right away. And then once you've collected your time, there's also a program inside of the document that will allow you to compare how you actually spent the time that you used over the course of the week to how you estimated just a moment ago you thought you would use the time. So make that comparison and you'll use that information for a future assignment as well. All of Chapter 2 really boils down to this idea that all 4 of these items are interconnected. The values are the things in your life that drive you, the things that matter the most to you. And based off the things that you want to achieve in your life and the things that you value most, you establish goals to put those values into action and have an end result that looks like a goal. So your values dictate your goals. Your priority is the list of importance you put on your daily routines, the things that you accomplish throughout the day. It's almost your values and action. How I can visualize how you spend your time based off of your values and your goals. Those are your priorities. What matters the most to you and when you accomplish those throughout the day. Whenever those 3 things are in perfect alignment, it results in positive time management. The things that are getting done in your life are the things that matter most to you. They also get the most effort and the most thought on your side. So all 4 of these items work together, and it's kind of the model for all of Chapter 2. I hear students often say that I fall behind in a class, so I'm going to make more time for those courses. Students oftentimes say that. So we're going to talk more about time management and how to make a thought like this into a reality. If I fall behind, I'll simply make more time for my classes. Let's compare that to a couple of other ideas. Because there is no secret, for example, to losing weight. So if someone wanted to lose weight, there's no secret. There's 2 options. You either burn more calories than you're currently burning, or you consume less calories than you're currently eating. You either have to exercise more, or you have to take in less calories or change your diet as a result of those less categories, the calories. So there's 2 ways to look at it, and both can result in losing weight. But there's no secret to it. It's out there. There's no secret to saving money. It's very similar to losing weight. Either you have to earn more money or you have to reduce the amount of money that you already have. You can approach it in 2 different directions, but one of those has to change to save money. Bring in more or spend less. That's the only 2 ways to go about it. So let's compare that to time management, because there's still no secret, but you can't add more time to a day. So whereas you could add more exercise, you could add more money to save money, you can't add more time to a day. So you have to adjust how you use the time you already have. What are the items that you're needing to add to that time? And what are you willing to give up to make room for those items? What comes first on your list of priorities? This builds into the idea of creating a successful schedule for yourself. We're going to do that now. So we're going to build a schedule, prioritize your task and your goals. We're going to start off on priority 1 items. So I want you to imagine that you have a blank schedule in front of you, or if you have a schedule that you can use, take advantage of that. The very first thing that you want to fill your schedule with are priority 1 items. These are crucial, high reward items that you must do. They're not an option for you. And the other caveat to priority 1 is they have to be done on a certain day and time. It's not flexible. So for example, college is probably a priority 1 item to you. So on your schedule, you would list all the times that your classes meet and the duration for which they meet on your schedule first. If you work a part-time or full-time job and you have certain set hours, you want to add that to your schedule first. Those are non-negotiable. They have to be done. You have no say-so over the time that they are completed. Family obligations, for example, I have to pick my kids up from school. Those are times that I have to be there. It's a certain time and place, and those are priority 1 items for me. So think about what your priority 1 items are for you, things that you have to do during a certain time, and populate your planner first with those items. So either download a planner or find one that you already own and populate a week's worth of items into your planner from priority 1 first. Start with the most important and work your way down. After you've established your priority 1 items, you're going to move on to priority 2 items. Now, priority 2 is just as important to you as priority 1. They're still crucial. They're still important to your values and your goals. The main difference about priority 2 is you have flexibility over when you complete them. So you have flexibility, for example, over when you complete an online class. So that might be priority 2, but schedule it in for a priority 2 item. You might have some flexibility over when you go to the gym, for example. Health is important. It should be crucial to you, but when you go to the gym is probably up to you. Sleeping may be a priority 2 item, depending on what your sleep schedule is. If you have a routine sleep schedule, it might be priority 1. If your sleep schedule changes based off the days and times and the events in your life, it might be priority 2. But items that you have some say over the flexibility over when you complete them would be priority 2 items. So go back to your schedule. You already have a list of priority 1 items on there. Now fill in the empty items with priority 2, the things that still matter the most to you, but you have some say-so over when you complete those items. Once you've completed that, we'll move on to priority 3. And these are everything else. The less important, low-key rewards. So these are some more instant gratification things that you still matter to you. They're just lower rewards. They come after everything else is completed. Playing video games, going to the mall, going shopping, going on a quick trip out of town, whatever it is, these are the items that you still want to do in your life. You just want to do them after everything else is completed. It's also important to schedule these items in your life. So if you're a big video gamer, schedule some time to play it, but put a beginning and an end time on those video games so a 2-hour-long session doesn't turn into an 8-hour-long video game session. So that way you have start times and end times. This will also help with procrastination. Schedule your priority 3 items last. Fill in the rest of your time with priority 3. So consider all of that. Use these priorities in a planner. Write down priority 1 items first. So you might want to get key dates from your courses, from your syllabus, from your schedule of activities. Put these on a planner. Enter the dates of events and commitments. For example, maybe a relative's birthday party, a friend's birthday party. You have places that you have to go at a certain day and time, and those relationships have value to you. So those are priority 1 items. Once you have those items, move on to priority 2 items and schedule those, and save priority 3 to when you have time available. Schedule those last, but do schedule them so you have start times and end times so they don't overtake the rest of your life. So consider all of that for this module so far. You'll apply this logic on your first assignment from module 2 for that time tracking activity. So be sure to have a look at that video before completing that assignment. Otherwise, this wraps up our first video from Learning Objective 2, Practicing Effective Time Management Strategies to Foster Responsibility and Accountability in College and in Life. I'll see you again for our next video in Chapter 2, and for the time being, go back to the class, get your assignment done, and if you have questions, reach out and ask. Thanks for watching.